Okay guys, so the first step is to draw 3 thumbnail sketches of what you think you might like to use for your design. So you can see thumbnail sketches are just tiny sketches, and they're basically just going to give you the gist or the idea of what you want your design to be like. They don't have to be quite as detailed or have all the lines on there that you think you want to add. And you can use any design, lines and shapes to come up with something that you find is interesting. I wouldn't make it too detailed because you're gonna end up drawing over these lines with glue. So if you have too many lines like this one, I probably did too many lines. That would be really difficult to do. Something like this would be better. Notice that I also went the whole way out to the edge with my designs. I didn't leave a border in the square. Okay, so once you're done with your thumbnail sketches, you're gonna pick your favorite one. I'm gonna give you a piece of paper that is 8 by 8 inches, and you are going to redraw it on there. Again, you don't wanna make it too complicated because you have to draw with glue, which is a little bit difficult, right? So here I have this drawn on here. Once I drew over it, I'm then going to trace it with Sharpie before my next step. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. All right, so I've gone over all of my regular pencil lines with Sharpie so that they are super dark. And this is gonna come in handy because we're gonna be putting this under our fabric. I'm gonna give you guys a piece of either cardboard or poster board like this, and you're gonna tape down all 4 corners onto this. So I'm just gonna put a piece of tape diagonally over all 4 corners, and then I'm gonna flip over this cardboard, and I'm gonna make sure my first name, last name, and room number is on here, so that once they go in the drying rack, we know who they belong to. Okay, and then you guys are each gonna get a piece of fabric. You wanna line up your fabric as best you can over top of your drawing, and then you're also gonna tape that down. When you tape the fabric down, I want you to try to use, make it straight along the edge so that you're not covering up the corners, okay? Now the fabric, I tried to cut as straight and as even as possible, but it might not be exactly 8 by 8 inches. It's very difficult to cut fabric in a particular way. So I did my best. If it's not totally straight, when we sew the pillows, you won't be able to tell. So don't worry about that if it's not 100% perfect, okay? So I got tape on corners and edges. You tape as much as you need to until you feel like, and you can use masking tape or Scotch tape. I might run out of Scotch tape, so you might have to use masking until the fabric seems like it's flat and it's not gonna move around whenever you're using the glue. Okay, so now that it's all taped down, I'm ready to start with the glue. So we're using this blue gel glue, so I'm gonna open it up, and you might wanna have like a little scrap piece of paper somewhere to test some of the glue on to make sure it's coming out and flowing and how much glue is coming out of it before you go onto your fabric, okay? Okay, so here I go. I'm gonna start tracing over my lines carefully on my paper. So take your time with this. It is not a race. And if you guys make a mistake and it's not exactly on your design, like I just went slightly off of my design on that little shape in the center, don't worry about it because no one's gonna know that it's not exactly as you planned. And once it's on there, I can't take it off. So you're just gonna have to go with the flow a little bit, and maybe you'll end up liking the new way that you designed it, even if it wasn't intentional. So don't worry if it's a little bit different than the design. Just do your best to try to get it to line up on there. So I outlined everything, and now I'm gonna go back and double check. Like you can see some lines, once you've added them, maybe they disconnected because of the glue kind of moving around a little bit. So if you need to go back and touch up any lines, take the time to do that. Sometimes it'll like almost shrink back onto itself. All right, so I went back over all of my lines. You can see they're all like nice and covered with glue, and I tried to do it as neatly as possible. So now we need to let this dry for a full day at least on the drying rack. So you guys can place those over there while they're still wet.